What do you measure? What do you collect data around? What informs you, apart from some of the things that you already mentioned, that a system is healthy?
I think we created some tools that help us to actually analyse that, because the thing I hear the most when I go into districts or in states or in countries is that we don't know where to start. So, people have these great strategic plans, but what evidence or what data are they basing that on, and why are they trying to shift to where they're going? So what I do to start with is we create an evaluative snapshot where we go in and we look at the 5 key capabilities that we think every system needs. And I call these the 5 capabilities. And if every system had use of these and was doing okay in them, then we would see a very big shift in how our systems are currently working. So the first one is understanding the real problem. So often we talk about that children are from poverty, or because they're a particular race, or they've got from a particular state, they're limited in what they can achieve. What we talk about is find out for that individual learner what really is happening in their life. Is it a health issue? Is it that they've got they're not having any food at home? Those things for survival actually have to be met first before we can actually start teaching them. So once we get that okay, we know who they are, we understand what's really going on, and then we look across the school. Does everybody else understand what's going on? Or are they still basing their judgments on assumptions as well? So really deeply understanding what's going on for the children and what the issues are that are causing them to not reach their potential. The second one is as parents as real partners. I've said a little bit about that already, but I think the one thing that's most important is that parents, to me, are an untapped workforce, because they understand their children better than we would ever understand them. They know them more, they get them. And what we do is we try and get them to be a lesson designer with our teachers and students together. We get them to be a part of the whole solution. Third one is leadership for accelerated change. And the reason why I say it's actually for accelerated change is that we can't stay the same. The status quo no longer is acceptable for most of our kids. So what we're saying is that, are you as a leader able to work from what you say you're going to do all the way through to outcomes for the learners? And you don't give up halfway through, you don't change course, you actually can lead all the way through to outcomes. And interestingly enough, we give this particular rubric that describes leadership for accelerated change to parents, to children, to teachers, so that all understand that they have a role to play in actually shaping the future.
So that's really modelling partnership.
It's modelling the partnership and getting them to be a part of it, because if we don't, then we're still doing the same as we've always done. The next one is teaching for zero failure. And I say, if we, the adults, get our behaviour right, then our children can be successful. There is no reason why they can't. We have to change what we're doing to make sure our kids are successful. Sometimes I've even been caught or heard to say that if a child fails a test, it's really the issue of the teaching, not the learner, because they haven't actually connected in with them to help them understand the content. And I guess the last one that I have of the 5 capabilities is that we want to have a culture of belonging and high expectations for all. And I marry those two together basically because it's not enough just to love kids. We actually have to expect that they're going to be successful, they're going to turn the world on fire, they've got the potential to be whatever they really want to be. And so what we do is we look across those 5 capabilities, we get teachers, leaders, students, community members to give themselves a rating across a 5-scale rubric to say, where do you think you're sitting on that? So across the 5 capabilities, we would end up with 2 actions from each area. And that starts to form the action plan, it starts to form the change plan. So people know what to do. We then allocate who's going to do what, we look at a review process, do we know we've been successful, and then we continue on that way. So for me, if we get those 5 capabilities in the right spot, then we will have actually been able to ensure that children coming into our system are going to be successful.